celebrating 15 years of Young Turks.
Hi, we come to you today from the Zinnov Confluence, which is a startup fest of sorts. There's a startup display area over here where there are startups that are displaying their products and services across IoT, artificial intelligence, and even robotics. So let's go right in, let's take a look at what's happening here at Texante.
So at Nirame, we are developing a non-contact, non-invasive, completely privacy-aware way of detecting breast cancer at a very, very early stage. The way we do it is we have developed our own artificial intelligence-led platform that analyzes thermal images to show if there are any signs of malignancy in a patient. A mobile-based thermal sensor here, you can see the lens, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus this lens on this notebook. And I will just take my finger there and I will just touch it for like half a second. And you can see my fingerprints there, right? And they are diminishing very fast because the heat of my fingers got transferred to these pages, and that we can detect using this. The actual device we use for screening is 4 times more sensitive than this.
Presently, where does accuracy stand, and can you tell us a little bit about some use cases that have already been successfully solved?
Yeah, so we have been testing this solution for last 3 years, and we have run our test in some of the leading cancer hospitals in the country for hundreds of patients. And what we have seen is high 90s is the level of accuracy we have seen when we compared our results with the results that were achieved with multiple modalities that the patients went through.
Great, Nidhi. Thanks for talking to us. So come, let's go look at what else we can find.
So, okay, this product which you see here is optimized for retail checkout and for, clerk-assisted and self-checkout scenarios. This basically works on visual recognition. So, if I have a non-barcoded item in the vegetable aisle, we place an item on the scale that it is eggplant large, and we select it, and the checkout process becomes seamless. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. Our image recognition technology will be used at farm gates to enhance product discrimination and produce better pricing mechanisms for farmers and for the aggregators who come, like Ninja Cart or contract farmers who are doing various aggregation. We are also going to the back end and use infrared cameras and be able to tell you whether your mango is sweet or not, whether your avocado is ripe to be eaten right now, or if your strawberry has internal damage.
There are some examples in India as well as abroad that have created this sort of visual imaging, sensing, and so on and so forth. So what makes your startup, HYPERWORKS, stand out?
HYPERWORKS Imaging. The core advantage of our technology is that we are creating the world's largest fruits and vegetables database. And using that, we will be able to identify anything. So that's one part. And the other part is cooked food, right? So we'll be able to identify all kinds of cooked food with our imaging systems and go into consumer IoT at a later point.
And I'm in conversation with Sachin Jaiswal of NIKI'S, a startup that was founded in 2015 to create, and let me read this out, an AI-powered chatbot as an intelligent personal assistant using natural language processing and machine learning. Now I've used the full forms of all these words, but if I didn't, this statement would read like an alphabet soup. Okay, so in layman terms, in everyday language that my dad can understand, can you tell us what NIKI'S does?
Okay. So NIKI is a shopkeeper, is a local shopkeeper that you go to if you need anything. Now, where it is different is that it's a conversational interface. Unlike most existing web and app interfaces, which are more or less monotonic and one-sided conversation, this is an actual interaction, a back and forth dialogue between two people. It's not just limited to English. Even today, NIKI can understand English in bits and pieces. And in the next 6 months, we actually plan to add regional language support. And that is the grand vision. We want to make it simpler so that we can expand the current set of transacting users from a 20 million to 200 million users in India.
Okay. So talk to us about some of the use cases presently. So I believe that you have partnerships with everyone from a Book My Show, some of the larger e-commerce companies like Redbus. Talk us about some interesting use cases that you've been able to solve for some of your customers.
So let's say if you have to plan a trip, you can just tell Niki that I want to go somewhere, and Niki will figure out, depending on your preferences, whether you would prefer a beach or a hill station, and Niki will come back with the right recommendation for you. And then book a hotel, and then book a bus. If required, Niki will book a flight. And all of that happens seamlessly. You don't have to tell Niki to do anything.
So Niki is learning from the user correctly, and she's learning intuitively and updating herself to know you, right? How is this different from what Siri is doing or what Alexa is doing or what the Google Assistant is doing? Because all of them sitting inside your smartphone essentially want to be that personal assistant, right? What's going to be the big differentiator or the big separator for Niki?
We're not building a personal assistant. We're building a shopkeeper, a sales girl, right? So by itself, it is just only focused on commerce. We build the user experience, we build it partnering with each of these merchants, and with this focus we are able to build a superior product, which means that with every statement you make, Niki remembers the past conversation and then comes back with response accordingly. Now that's something which is not available for most of these bots. You talk about Cortana, you talk about Siri.
The other thing that I looked at was that you have a partnership with one of the phone companies for Niki to come preloaded on that. This is one partnership on board. Are there more such partnerships? And what will Niki as part of your phone do?
So it's an interesting mechanism for us to distribute the bot across a large user base. And we have about 20 to 30 different partnerships. Why it is relevant? Because Niki reduces the need to have multiple apps, right? So if you use Niki, you don't need Redbus, you don't need Ola, you don't need Uber app, you don't need any of these apps. Just imagine the kind of utility it can drive for users, especially ones who are using tier 2 phones, which do not have enough memory space, right?
Correct. How big is the company right now, and what do you want it to be in the next few years?
We are growing at a pace of 50% month on month. In terms of the businesses that we have partnered with, we have more than 100 odd merchants who partner with us either for distribution or for opening up their inventory to us. And we are doing roughly an average revenue run rate of about 5 million.
All
and
right.
we hope that $5 million, and we hope that we take this up to 100 million at least in the next 2 to 3 years.
What is the future world order look like to you as someone who has taken the bold bet of developing a chatbot out of India long before it was fashionable to do so?
In the next 20 to 30 years, machines will be smart enough that they understand human language, that they can talk to humans and they can understand our need much before we do, right? And they'll be able to serve us better. They'll be able to become better agents of change for us as a society.
And what will Niki be doing 20, 30 years
She
from
will
now?
be a sales girl. And
She will still be a sales girl?
She will continue to sell products and services that you want. But she'll be much more intelligent. You don't even have to tell Niki what you need. She will guess it.
All right, so she's going to be your intuition in that sense.
Yes.
And she's going to be your telepathic partner and soulmate. All right. Towards a new world order it is. With that, it's time to wrap up this special edition of Young Turks from Zinnov Confluence. Tell us what you thought of the show. Write to us on Facebook or on Twitter. Till next time, thank you very much for watching.
Celebrating 15 years of Young Turks.